Music Collaboration.
Hi and welcome to another MuCol video. I'm going to explain in this video what I've done after we've completed the mix of a particular song. So we're still in this Hammer On project where we record an entire album called Damned to Redemption. We're looking here at a song called Death Speech, and we have gone through the following stages. We have created song ideas. From these ideas we have split out on a per instrument basis new project, and everyone involved could work in their projects to do the recordings. We have then collected those recordings back into the main project, and we have now just completed the mix. So we have all our tracks here in the mix folder, and obviously it would now be nice if we had those versions that we have created as part of the mix process available as backtracks in the instrument projects. And also, like in my case, I'm the keyboarder, I want to have the edited and corrected version of the keyboard tracks as a copy in my keyboard project. So the way this is done is I've marked the tracks that we want to have available as backtracks with a B for backtracks, obviously. As you can see, we have the bass, we have percussion, we have drums, guitar, we have a brass section in this song as well, we have the keyboards down here, and we have lead vocals and a backtrack for each of the backing vocals. Now, one of the things that needs to be understood that the send effects are not included in those backtracks. The stem is done on the track itself. That means that we need to add a minimal set of send effects in the backtracks to make them sound pleasant. Right, so we have marked the tracks that we want to have in the backtracks, and as I said, I want to have the keyboards as a copy in my keyboard project. In order to do so, I need to mark this track not only with B, but with B and C. It takes a little while for the markings to work when you click on the arrow button, because there is quite a number of validations going on in the background. So this is the way I left the song when I executed the script, the MuCol script, which is called process project up here. Because I have already done so, I can remove the C marker again from the keys and can show you what the result was in terms of the backtracks before we move on to the keyboard project, and we'll see what has happened there. Okay, so the C marker gets removed once the script is executed, so that the tracks are only copied over to the instrument project once. Otherwise, whenever the script is executed, you would get a new version, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But the B marker remains, so that we get the backtracks from the latest version of the respective tracks. So in the backtracks of the main project, we have the old backtracks, which I have summed under a track called old, so that I can easily handle and mute it, because that's the backtracks coming from the instrument projects, which we don't need anymore. So I minimize those, and now we have here the new stems with the tracks that have been found here in the mix folder, which is why it is under main * mix. Right, that's it for the main project. Now let's quickly move on. Well, one last thing. If we want to do record, for example, the rehearsals or something, we would create respective tracks under *rec again, and then we could use the backtracks to play along. If, for example, the vocalist is not available in a rehearsal session, then we could mute all other instruments, play along, and we could still have a very productive rehearsal session. Now let's quickly take a look at the instrument project for the keyboards. I have already opened it up here, and I have also already executed the script up here. What has happened is I got the a copy of this keyboard track with all tracks below it, and the date has been added at which the script was executed and the track was imported. I left my old recordings in here, but muted them just for reference if anything has been changed and I still would like to find out what the original idea was. So I have here all my keyboards. Now down in the backtracks we have once again all those recordings from the individual instruments. Down here is the vocals. Let me move that up here. We could insert here as well, just as I did in the main project, and track old and move all those backtracks, which I probably don't need anymore, under here, and minimize that. And then we have the same backtracks from the main mix as we have seen in the main project. As I said, it makes sense to have a minimal set of send effects applied to the stems, because, for example, reverb, which is probably one of the most important send effects that has been used, has been removed or is not part of the stems, so things would sound rather dry if we left it like this. I have a little track template which I could use. Reverb tracks, here we go. Let me move it underneath the backtracks like this. So it's now all in here, and now what we need to do is we need to send to this reverb track so that things sound nice again. So here we have our main mix. Now we have the drums, so we grab this I/O button here and move it over to the reverb track, and like that we get a send to reverb. As you can see, we have here the effects, and underneath that a track with the a little equalizer right after the Reaper reverb plugin, which is good enough for our purposes. Don't need to send quite that much. Usually around -20 dB is fine. I'll copy that over to all other tracks other than the keys, because the keys have their own effects. like that, and the bass usually doesn't need as much reverb as the other instruments involved. So like that, we have a backtrack mix which sounds just fine for playing along, and this is probably one of the main things that's is going to happen after we've recorded an album. We probably want to perform it on stage, and this way I'm able to rehearse on my own my keyboard parts, and I have all the latest versions of the recordings from the main project available back here in my instrument project, and can play along. I obviously would also mute the keys, because that's what I eventually gonna play myself when rehearsing. Right, that's it. Thanks a lot for watching and have fun. Bye bye.
Music collaboration.